I look around the room, I think I've seen half of you sometime this week between clean sweeps or the Walk for Hawk or all the things that are happening in Salem. And really that's a tribute to all the folks who are here, that we have this amazing place that we're all lucky enough to call home, known as Salem, Massachusetts. And I couldn't be more pleased to be here in support of Paul Tucker, who's running to be our state rep. I hate to lose him as a police chief. I've already told him he can't leave until after this Halloween. And maybe next Halloween. Halloween's on a Friday night this year. The only person celebrating that is Biff Michelle. But it does mean a lot to me to be here in support of Paul. He's been a terrific leader in the police department, a good listener. He has all the skill sets that I know are going to make him just an amazing state rep. And as I'm sad to lose him in the police department, I'm so excited that we'll have him up at the State House, working hard for us, for all of us. I look around the room, I see business leaders, I see homeowners, I see many of the men and women from the Salem Police Department. I know he has their respect. He's a man of great integrity, and I'm proud to be supporting him. But my job here today is to really introduce and recognize the person who's our current state rep. Someone who I've had the pleasure of working with the last 8 years, who came into the job as state rep really understanding what it's like to work for a city. As many of you know, John was our longtime solicitor, former assistant city solicitor. There was no explaining what the key projects are. There was no having to talk through what really were the important items that Salem needed to focus on for that agenda and that vision. He already knew. I'm a big fan of his work. We've been able to work together, first in concert with Senator Fred Berry, and now with Senator Joan Lovely. And one of the things that separates Salem, all the success that we've had, and we're not done yet, you know, we can continue to put things on the list that we want to achieve, is that John is such a great team player. I talk to my colleagues in other cities and towns, and you will hear disputes with their legislative delegation, petty jealousies, not having everybody on the same page. We don't have it here. It really doesn't exist. One, he's a phenomenal guy, John Keenan, but two, we don't pay attention to who takes credit. He does great work at the State House. Amazing the sort of things we've been able to put together. He's partnered with the Senate delegation to make good things happen in Salem. If you think about the long list of accomplishments here, many of them we've partnered with the state. And at the local level, there isn't the bickering, there isn't the jealousies. We just put our nose to the grindstone and really work hard together, and I really appreciated the opportunity to work with him over the last 8 years. I'm going to miss him terribly. The only saving grace is he's still going to be here. So while he won't be representing us in the State House, he'll be living in Salem and contributing, I know, in some way to the fabric of our community. And I just want to thank him for all his years of really working on a team concept to make Salem better. He's smart, he's savvy, he's figured out that crazy building. Good luck, Paul. I mean, that's crazy up there in the State House in a way that I don't think anybody else could have in the short time frame that he did moving in there. And most importantly, he's been a terrific fan, a terrific friend, and I'm a big fan of his work, and I'm going to miss him. And it's my pleasure to introduce our current state rep, John Keenan.
Possible because I know just about almost 10 years to the day I was standing just about that same place, just about to announce that same thing, and your stomach right now, Chief, I know what your stomach is going. I'm going to be very brief and let you recognize your family and it is truly my privilege to be here today as well, as the mayor has just explained also. We have a great team here in the city of Salem, I have to say. Mayor Driscoll, as Matt Vino mentioned just a few moments ago, truly is, with all due respect to my good friend the mayor of Boston, truly is one of the best, if not the best mayor, certainly of a small city anywhere, but perhaps in the country. And I always, you know, people tell me what makes the mayor so effective. I said, she played basketball. I said, what does that mean? I said, she played basketball. She's a team player. I played football. Some of you know I played football. Team sports is incredibly important in terms of the jobs that we do. It allows you to decide and make decisions in terms of what's best for the community, what's best for the team. I am thrilled to be here today. You know, when you decide to move on, you think about what's going to happen next and who's going to take your place. Being a state representative is truly an honor and a privilege. If you folks in the room had voted for me before, I thank you. If you didn't vote for me, I thank you as well. It is truly a privilege to serve as the state representative, and you are a steward of this beautiful and great city. I am more than happy to hand the baton off to Chief Tucker. I know he was on the track team. I couldn't be more happy to hand the baton off to Chief Tucker. I will say this, leaving is relatively easy because of the fact that we have Mayor Driscoll in the corner office. I would also want to mention Senator Lovell, who has filled the role of a legend, Senator Berry, without missing a step. She hit the ground running up at the State House, and I'm convinced with her support, with her staff, with the folks up there that she's brought around her, that soon-to-be Representative Tucker will hit the ground as well, working with that legislative delegation. I'm thrilled to hear that. You know, the chief has gotten some flack for essentially running with no major opposition, and Mayor Driscoll was asking what I'm going to do next. I'm thinking that he's going to be the representative. Maybe I'll apply for the police chief's job. I got a resume right here, man. No offense to my friends over here. But in all seriousness, though, he's got some flack for running essentially unopposed. I know there's opposition. President Meserve the other day was joking around. I've long been the black sheep of the delegation because I'm not a Salem State grad. She is now going to have a Salem State grad as her representative. I do see also in the crowd Councilor O'Keefe, who works with Salem State all the time. I want to recognize him. I think Councilor Gerard came in also, so thank both of you for your service. But I know the chief's been getting a hard time. The paper gave him a hard time saying he's running unopposed because he carries a gun. Was I a little jealous of that? Running essentially unopposed? Yes. But each and every one of you in the room knows exactly why Chief Tucker is running in the position that he is. And that's why each and every one of you are in the room here today. Each and every one of you in the knows that Paul Tucker is a man of incredible integrity. Everyone in the room here knows he's running unopposed because Paul Tucker is a man of tireless and incredible work ethic. Everyone in the room here knows that Chief Tucker has spent over 30 years and has an impeccable record of public service and accomplishment as our police chief. I know Chief St. Pierre is here as well. As the state representative, I couldn't be more proud than what our men in blue and the folks in actually the fire department, but our police department is second to none. It's because of Chief St. Pierre and now in the leadership of Chief Tucker. And that, my friends, is why he is running unopposed. It's not because he carries a gun. It's because he's going to do a hell of a job. I couldn't be more proud to see my friend, Chief Tucker, Paul Tucker, who bleeds Salem red as much as I do and loves this great city, to be our next state representative.
It's really difficult to put into words how grateful I am for everybody to be here today. You really can't imagine how I feel about this support as I start this kickoff to represent Salem in the legislature. This is a great city, and it's been represented by some extraordinary leaders on Beacon Hill, from Kevin Harrington to Sam Zoll to Fred Berry to Mike Ruane and now John Keenan. Each one strong, effective, and respected. They are models for me to follow. They are certainly hard acts to follow, but I'm determined to give it my best effort. This is my first time running for public office, but it's not my first time running for Salem. Some of you may remember me as on the picture on one of my campaign materials as a skinny kid running at Salem in the track team in the mid-1970s. Back then, our coaches and our teachers, one of my favorite teachers, Brendan Walsh, is here, who I had back then. They urged us. They urged us then to strive to do better. They urged us to strive to be better. Those early lessons stayed with me. They've kept me striving and running now for Salem my entire adult life. Salem State and Anna Maria College educated me to be a better police officer, a better detective, and a better chief. Law school gave me a better understanding of all the laws that I had sworn to uphold and enforce. And for the past 32 years, the people of Salem have educated me on a daily basis about the issues that affect our city. Issues such as domestic violence. And we saw the Hawk Walk here today, a tremendous amount of courage for domestic violence survivors to come here and stop this scourge. Things like intolerance, elder and domestic abuse, child neglect, property crimes, drug addiction, and gun violence. I've done my best to make Salem a safer, saner, and more tolerant place to live. I know this city. I know this city street by street. I know it block by block. I know the people who live here. I know the new residents, and I know the families that have been here for generations. I know their triumphs, and I know their tragedies. I know when they need help, and I know how to help. Truth be told, constituent services and problem solving are the biggest parts of a police officer's job today. As a public servant, I've always tried to take every call seriously, because you never know when the small thing will become a big thing in someone's life. Before I became chief, I frequently worked the detail at an establishment which was home to many men and women. They were struggling with alcoholism, drug addiction, mental illness. One of the residents there, his name was Leo. I got to know him pretty well. When I worked the detail, he would come down to see me and we would talk often. I got to know his hard luck story and the struggles that he had in life. He called me one day at the police station. He was at North Shore Medical Center and he had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. I went to visit him a few times, and on one of the visits I asked him about his family. He had said that he had not been in contact with them for many, many years. They lived in Florida and they had not wanted anything to do with him because of some of the poor choices that he admittedly had made. He was depressed about that. When I returned to the station that day, I was able to do a little bit of research, and I located his father and his sister in Florida. I explained Leo's situation to them and how serious it was. They ended up coming to Salem to visit with him. Before he passed away, Leo called me. He told me how happy he had been to see his family. It had been a great visit. He also said to me that my finding his family was the nicest thing that anybody had ever done for him. I didn't see it as anything special. I saw it as doing my job. But I tell this story for one reason, and it's because it's an example of how a small thing that public servants can do that can make a big deal in somebody's life. I have many of my colleagues here today, and I marvel every day at the courage of police officers and firefighters in our military. It's something that oftentimes goes unrewarded, but nonetheless should be recognized. Sometimes groups of people need support from our public servants. The police department's mission is to protect the rights and safety of all. I was proud to stand recently with Mayor Driscoll and members of the LGBT community in support of her non-discrimination ordinance. I spoke at the council hearing, and my words were probably not that memorable, but I did feel it was important to speak on behalf of younger and older citizens who had been harmed by intolerance and discrimination. I do know this, that when people stand up for each other, everyone benefits. I have listened, I've learned from the people of Salem, our older citizens, our veterans, our immigrant neighbors and young families, our university community, our business owners, and workers of all ages and backgrounds. They are all part of what makes Salem great. I believe that these experiences have prepared me well to take on issues as a legislator. They give me a keen understanding of cause and effect and what needs to be done at the state level to help these families in Salem. I am giving up a job that I've loved for 32 years. I said to some folks earlier, this job has probably given me more fun and experiences and rewarding than any one person should have a gift in a lifetime. But I'm doing this to hopefully become a state representative to put my experience to work to strengthen our economy, create jobs, contain health care costs, provide excellent education at every level, and promote affordable housing. I believe those are the keys to a better future for Salem because they address the root causes of so many problems that law enforcement deals with today. Salem is a special place, unlike any other. It's a city rich in history, while at the same time future-bound, with construction projects and improvements everywhere you look. I'm very excited at the prospect of forming a strong and effective partnership with Senator Joan Lovely and Mayor Kim Driscoll to ensure that Salem will receive its fair share of grants, programs, and state aid that we need to fund our schools, public safety, and municipal services. Now, I've had many people tell me that I probably will not be able to outwork Senator Lovely and Mayor Driscoll, but I will try my best, and maybe I'll get them out there running the roads with me as well. I can promise you this, I'll always strive to do better and strive to be better for Salem. When I was sworn in as police chief, a colleague from another community came over and said something that struck with me. He said to me, "You are now the chief of a premier city. Everyone knows Salem." He was absolutely right. Salem is a premier city. It's a city I would be proud to represent at the State House. I am running for state representative. I am running for Salem. I look forward to campaigning all summer and all fall to make that a reality. I'm so thrilled and gratified that so many people have come here to be part of the team. I'm so grateful for your support, and I promise you this, that if you entrust me with your vote, I will never let you down. Thank you. Yeah.
Photo op, all right? I know, right?